this is the big one that Ashley just mentioned about the COVID-19 situation, which is crazy. Like I can't even I can't even believe like the state of living that we're in right now. It's just insane. But anyway, you got to roll with it. First off, let me get into something really fast with regard to that issue, because I think it's beneficial to all of you, because all of you are parents. We obviously, you're probably worried if if you're not worried about your kids, you probably have parents that you're worried about. I don't think anyone in this group is is elderly, but you probably, if you are, then you might be worried about yourself. And even if you're not elderly, you might just be worried about yourself and your own health, and in fear. And here's the best way to deal with that from a mindset standpoint. And I hope this helps you guys, because regardless of what you think about the coronavirus, if you're in fear for your own safety, if you're in fear for someone else's, maybe you're not scared at all. Maybe you're not in fear for your elderly relatives or your unhealthy relatives or your kids or yourself. Maybe you're not in fear at all. But if you are, it's completely natural. But here's the deal. If you are I'm going to break this down. If you are in fear or if you're not. If you are in fear and you're afraid for your kids and you're afraid for whoever, yourself, your parents, your grandparents, whoever, here's what you have to do. You have to remember that, number one, your fear and worry are 100% natural, because that's what we do as human beings when we care about people or when we love something. Even just our own life, like we love, our own lives. You cannot operate from a place of fear and worry if you want to take care of the people that you love, including yourself. So if you are in fear about this, the best way to do this is to, and this is crazy, I heard this the other day when I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff so I can help more people and help you guys and whatever. But one of the people that I heard explained it, that basically you initially, when you start feeling that fear or worry, that you actually, instead of like shying away from it, that you actually thank it. And you actually thank yourself for, this is crazy, but it works. I just did it. You thank yourself for being afraid or for being worried, because that is basically set up to protect yourself, right? So you approach it initially with gratitude and thank that fear and that worry. Thank your body for letting you feel it, so that you can, because it's trying to basically have you protect yourself and your people. But then what you need to remember is that you cannot operate from that space and take care of anybody, including yourself. So once you thank it and once you appreciate it, you need to be able to let it go. And you need to be able to, even if it's temporary, one of the things that you can do is you can actually write them down. This is a neat little trick that I've done. You can actually write them down on a piece of paper, your fears and your worries. And then you can literally just place them aside. Maybe place them in a drawer. Maybe place them, on a mantle somewhere. Or by, if you're religious, maybe by a cross somewhere in your house or something like that. And you just physically agree that, okay, I'm going to leave these here right now. Like I don't need to be dealing with these right now. I'm on a mission right now, and it's to help the people that I am fearful of. Maybe it's myself or my kids or whoever. And then you go into the place of transferring your fears and your worries on the inside and transferring it to outer acts of compassion and care and support for the people that you love. Okay? Maybe it's not being in physical contact with them. Maybe it's calling them. Maybe it's taking a necessary step to help someone in your community, or taking a necessary step to enjoy these moments with your kids so that they're not in fear. Enjoy them one-on-one, presence, intentional, making memories, turning it into something that will help them eliminate their fear. Okay? I hope that makes sense. And then the next thing is, if you're not afraid of it, if you're not afraid for yourself, if you think the thing's overblown, if if you just don't think it's that big of a deal, then instead of running around and telling everybody that, use your strength in the matter to help other people. Use your strength and your ability to not feel that fear to help other people. Because if you can do that, like we're all in the same situation, folks. Like we're all in this together. So use that stance of strength, not to look around and be like, oh my God, these people are freaking crazy. I can't believe the world's acting like this. Use it to, all right, look, my neighbor needs my help. Like my neighbor's scared shitless. Like maybe I need to go and, get their groceries for them, or maybe I need to help them with something, or maybe I need to just check on them. And what that does is that puts you in a better place too to deal with the whole situation. Now, from a custody standpoint and a parenting standpoint and a co-parenting standpoint, listen very closely, because some of you aren't in the position to do this, but if you are, you need to take heed to this. I'm gonna get up on a little bit of a soapbox for a second. Everyone in the world right now, we're in a position that instead of fear-mongering and blaming, regardless of your political affiliation and whatever you believe, blaming the president or blaming China or blaming the left or blaming the right or whoever, that's fine. But you got to remember that right now that is not doing anything for anybody. And the only reason why I preface that, trust me, this is not a political group. I couldn't give two shits about the whole thing, but the reason why I preface that is that way is because we all have an opportunity to, instead of exploiting our differences, we all have an opportunity to exploit our similarities and our desire to take care of everybody. And it's a perfect opportunity to do that. It's a perfect opportunity to show humanity instead of arguing and blaming. It's the perfect opportunity, and you'll get where I'm going with this in a second. It's a perfect opportunity to show solidarity, to show support, to show compassion, to show passion, and things like that. So it's the same exact thing in custody situations and in co-parenting. And again, I know some of you are in some pretty violent and heated and tumultuous relationships. But for those of you that are maybe kind of on the border, this is a perfect opportunity for you and your ex to try to work together, right? Because the only thing that you may have in common, you have it in common, and it's the safety of your kids and of your family. And I don't care what a shitbag the other person is, unless it's a situation where they're a major drug addict or they're an major abuser or something like that. Otherwise, we care, like, the number one goal is safety of our children. We might get there a different way. Our parenting styles may be different. Some of them may be shittier than others. But this fear and this worry in this situation that we're in is a perfect opportunity to, at a minimum, at least attempt to work together, right? And it might mean you being the stronger person and the bigger person and turning the other cheek to some bullshit. But it's a great opportunity to try to work together. So if you have a custody order that isn't clear about school times, and now you all of a sudden, or times, it just says school times, and now all of a sudden no one's in school, what do? My suggestion would be to because not only is it humanly the right thing to do, and it's the right thing to do for your kids, it could also be the right thing to do for court, because cooperation, like, the courts love cooperation, and they love people trying to work together. So if you can show you are, that's going to help you ultimately. And I'm not saying to do it as a court strategy. I'm just saying that's kind of like a side benefit to it. So I would try, ultimately, number one, hey, look, for the time being, I know it's been rough. I know we've been into some battles. I know I've made bad decisions too. Can we work together through this at this time to build the safest, most secure, and most enjoyable life possible for our kids during this time? To not add to and potentially eliminate the traumatic feelings they may be experiencing. All right? And if you can do that, if you're in a position where it's possible, I don't mean that you have a perfect relationship. I mean that you have a relationship that maybe you can swallow your pride, swallow your differences, and at least attempt it. I have a case right now where I talked to a client on Friday, I believe, and they already told me that this tragedy, or not tragedy, I don't want to say, but this situation that we're in has already changed their relationship for the better. Because it's instead of looking for the differences, they're trying to be unified, right? Now again, that's not going to work in everybody's situation. So, for the people that it doesn't work in, what I would do is I would look at your specific court order. Your court order is going to govern, right? If it's after school, if it says after school, then technically speaking, if you guys can't come to an agreement of when custody transfers during the day, then it would be the same time as after school. So if school's done or daycare's done at 4 o'clock or whatever, it would be at 4 o'clock. If it says before school and it's 8 o'clock, it would be 8 o'clock. So unfortunately, if you can't come to an agreement, you're going to need to look at the literal language in the court order. Otherwise, if there's no court order, you guys are going to have to try to figure it out. And if you can't, you're going to have to go to court. And quite honestly, during this time, unless there's something major going on, I'm guessing that if you go to court over just like interpretation issues, I wouldn't think the judge will be too happy about it. So I'd be careful about that. Is this making sense to the people that were curious about that question? I hope it does. I hope it makes sense. Try unity first. Try teamwork first. Try working together first. And really try it. I don't mean like throw out one text and get a dickhead response back and be like, well, I tried, it's over. Like, try it. Try to work together. Try your best. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least you'll have now evidence showing that you literally put in a good faith effort to try to make this time a time of unity and a time of teamwork instead of a time of fear. Right? And if not, go by the court order. Rugi asks, no custody order of a 6-month-old that has had one visit with her father so far. Asked him to hold off on visitation and use FaceTime. Yeah, Corona. Corona. Yeah, Rugi. That's a good example right there. And kudos to both of you. Right? Kudos to you for trying to be cool about it and coming up with an alternative based on like legit fears, not just trying to utilize this to keep the child away from him. And kudos to him for being agreeable to seeing that, hey, look, the safety of my kid is more important than me being with my kid, right? So that's good. That's exactly kind of what I was hinting at, right? Because you guys all have legit, regardless of what you think about the virus itself, you all have legit concerns on the economy alone. And I don't mean the economy as a whole. I just mean right now, you don't know what they're going to end up doing, especially like so many people are flying around so many rumors, which quite honestly, I think most of them are bullshit. But regardless, you still have to prepare. And, a lot of people with kids being out of school, they're wondering how they're going to pay they're going to pay for lunches and stuff like that. I'm hearing some school districts are going to cover those for low-income people. And if you do have the wherewithal and the ability, financial ability that you don't have to worry about it, then maybe like try to help somebody else. So it's a solidarity thing. It's a great time for teamwork and for togetherness instead of all this, arguing and blaming and separation and things like that. So I hope that helps. I got to a bunch of questions. We've been on for a while now, running out of time. So I'm going to get rolling. I hope this helps everybody. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. So have a great Sunday and stay safe and stay vigilant, but also, keep calm and be rational as well. Don't let your fear overtake you and your worry. So see ya. Bye-bye.